video. And today I got both kayaks on the trailer, so that can only mean one or two things. Either one, I'm going fishing with somebody, or two, you're about to get my review of an affordable kayak versus a Hobie kayak. So let's jump right into it and let you guys know my opinions on the 110 high drive made by Pelican and the 2020 Hobie Outback. Let's get into it. Alright guys, so you saw my review on the 2020 Hobie Outback. I hope you liked that video. If not, go to the page, check it out. Let me know if you have any questions on it. But today I pulled out the Pelican, and this is the OG for me. I got this kayak back May of last year. Fished my first tournament on Melton Hill out of it. Ended up placing 9th. This kayak won me the 12-foot Hobie Outback. So this kayak has a special place in my heart. I probably never will sell this kayak just because I put it through the ringer, I put it on the river, I've put fish in it, and I just absolutely love this kayak. It is a 10-foot kayak, 10'3" I think. It has the rudder that pops down when you pull the straps. Straps are closer to the fish finder if you can see them up there. But yeah, this rudder system does come down. It did break on me, so I added a makeshift fix for it, and it broke because of my fault. I think I over tightened when I installed the rudder system. When you buy this kayak, or really any kayak I'm assuming, you do have to install the rudder system. I didn't have to with Hobie Outback because the good people at Frontier Outdoors took care of that for me. The Pelican I did buy, surprisingly, the same man who donated the Hobie Outback, I bought the Pelican off of. Just a little backstory on it. But yeah, so we have the Pelican 110 high drive. First thing I want to go over is the back storage, and we'll just kind of work our way from back to front on both of the kayaks. And I'm not going to really go into a lot on the Hobie because I just did the review on it. It's just going to be kind of a comparison. So as you can see, not a whole lot of room back here unless you count up to the seat. So up to the back of the seat, you do have pretty decent room. You kind of got this hump here. There is a hump. So the crate fits perfectly back here and puts the battery box there as well. So all that works for me. I do have the same battery box set up here that I do on the front of the Hobie, but this is just in the back because there's no in-hole storage in this aside from this little spot right back here. And I've never used that storage just because when I was fishing I found it sufficient enough to be here. It does have rod holders. It's got one on this side and then two on the opposite side here, so it's pretty good. Here's that rudder system I was telling you about earlier. It's got a handle on the right side, and then it's got the seat. The seat isn't anything incredible. It is a comfortable seat. When I went to the Pelican, I upgraded from an Ascend, so you are lifted up higher, but there's only one seat position for this, really. So that's the kind of the downfall for the Pelican. Only has one seat position, whereas the Hobie, you can raise the seat, lower the seat. You can't slide it back or anything. Same thing here, you can't slide it back. This one doesn't lower or raise, so it's stuck in this position. The only thing you can really adjust is how far back you want to lean and how tight you want the seat system to be up here on the bottom. So and that's what each one of these are for, the bottom tension of the seat. I like it in the tightest position possible. One thing I do like about the Pelican seat is these little pockets that it has, and a little like pliers organizer. When I was fishing the Wacky Rig a lot, that's what I'd put in here, was the Wacky Rig tool, and maybe some pliers under my legs on the seat. Plenty of standing space. until you have the drive-in. There's tons of standing space right now, but with the drive-in, it comes up about right here, and that kind of does away with some of your standing space. For me, I'm a small guy. I weigh about 180. This kayak's perfect for me because I'm only 5'9". It's very stable in my opinion. Like I said, I went from an Ascend to the Pelican, and it was super stable. The big problem was, for me, is once I got into the Hobie, I do not think this is as stable as I thought it was before. So the Hobie is incredibly stable. I've walked around on this kayak. This one I have set on the front of it and dangled my feet in the water, and it did not flip. Would I stand on it? No, probably not. I have walked up pretty far on this kayak, up here to the front. I've walked up, you know, up in this space, but that's the farthest. I wouldn't walk around in this like I would the Hobie. I mean, if you take that seat out of the Hobie, you could walk from front to back, no problem. But the Pelican, like I said, I love it. I don't have a very clean fish finder system. As you can see, I got my cables here. It runs up to my mount on the transducer here, and then the fish finder's mounted back here, and then I got all my wiring back here. I would have liked, and you can, to install the front hatch here. If I had this front hatch installed, this would have been a cleaner setup for me personally. I think so. I didn't want to install it because I didn't want to mess it up. I didn't want to cause anything to cause leaks. I did not want to risk it. So I left it as is and did it myself, figured it out. I do have this dry box put on the kayak under the seat for phone, accessories, things like that, because again, not much storage for dry well, anything like that. I haven't taken it out since I got the Hobie. I've always got the Hobie on the trailer. This is kind of my second person kayak, but like I said before, special place in my heart, and I don't think I could get rid of it. It's got your steering system right here on the left hand side, and it's got a handle on the other. So that is one thing I do not like about the Pelican versus the Hobie. The Hobie's got steering on both sides, and it's got a handle on both sides under the seat. This one, there's no handle under the seat. Only one on the side is right here, and then you got two handles in the back. That makes for grabbing it and lifting it up fairly easy. And then of course you've got the handle in the front, and these are good handles. I like this handle versus the Hobie, which is just one of those eye rings or whatever you want to call them, loop rings, and a rope handle. Do I think this is sturdy? Absolutely. Which handle do I like more? I wish the stronger handle was on the Hobie. One thing I will say flat out of the gate is I wish that was on the Hobie. Pedal drive. Let's get into the pedal drive. All right, so we've got the Pelican pedal drive and the Hobie Mirage drive. Looking at the original Hobie pedal drive, you're looking at it right here. This backstory for the Pelican drive is this is actually the same design as the very first Hobie pedal drive system. You probably know the Hobie pedal drive system with the blue and the black on the fins. But when Hobie went to the Mirage drive, the 180, they sold the designs for the original drive, and I don't really know what that drive is called. I know on Pelican they call it the High Drive 2, the High Drive 2. They did go through the first system, made some changes. I don't know a whole lot because it was smaller specs on the changes they made. But looking at the drives, if you put them side by side, which we'll do on the Hobie because we have more room, The drives look identical. I mean, you've got your double chain. The Mirage drive is a longer drive. It does have forward, reverse, and it has the kick-up fins. So that's the Mirage drive. The High Drive 2 does not have reverse, only has forward. They say you can pull it and put it upside, or not upside down. You can pull it and put it in backwards in the Pelican and it will pedal it backwards fine, just to be careful. So I always take a paddle with me. But there's no forward, backwards, there's no kick-up fins. You can go in shallow water and keep it like that, and it stays pretty close to the hull like it does in the Hobie. But overall, same drive system almost. Big difference is the Hobie has forward reverse, Pelican does not. Now, on the Hobie, I told you a little bit about the Pelican on the Hobie. It is 12'9", so that's an upgrade of 2 foot for me. 2 foot and some inches. I think that one's only like 10'3", 10'9", somewhere like that. So we're gonna say 2 foot and some inches. It does have a stronger secure system for the drive, whereas the Pelican, it does have a secure system. It's just not foolproof. I mean, it's come loose many times on me from just these little plastic things. The whole drive design, they say the Pelican can fit the Mirage Drive 180, just that it gets a little snug down here. But if you think about it, they are both the same concept of a drive. They look the same with the front turning ropes and everything going through the drive, the chain. I mean, it looks very, very similar, aside from the 180 and the kick-up fins. One thing the Pelican does not have that the Hobie does have is this hatch storage. I love this hatch storage. It's perfect for me, right under my feet, easy to grab. It also does not have the G-rails, I think these are called, G-rails, and all this track system that the Hobie has. The Pelican has 2 small ones on the front and 2 big ones on the mid section of the kayak, nothing on the back. The Hobie has your G-rail, it's got the track system, same thing on this side. You go to the back, you got your track system, and the same thing on the other side. So lots of track system on the Hobie. If you like to rig your kayak with electronics, the Hobie has it pre-rigged for electronics as well. So that's kind of what you're looking at here. Hopefully that was a good example of it. Here's what mine looks like with the electronics rigged through it. And that does run through the hull. And I didn't show you in my last video, but under this little black piece is the Hobie Guardian that drops down, and basically the transducers run up through this little pulley. There's a pulley in here, run through, goes into the kayak, and then you can pull it out of either hole in the kayak. Again, the back of the Hobie has tremendous space. I mean, realistically, if you had a longer crate, that's what I would like, is one of those almost dual crates, the longer ones, to put in here. I would have so much space, be able to take so many more rods, and I just, that's my next upgrade, is to either get the, I think the Hobie is the Y crate or the H crate. It's the H crate. Or black pack, or get a longer one of those dual milk crates. Going back in the rudder system again, the Pelican's has the rudder on the top, Hobie's underneath, and it is a drop down. Overall, do I love the Pelican? Absolutely. Do I love the Hobie? Without a doubt. But the question is, which one would you get? An affordable kayak versus a $3,000 Hobie Outback? And my response is going to be the same as when I was looking into the kayak. We all know I went from the Ascend to the Pelican, right? My thing was I wanted a Hobie. I wanted a Hobie so bad that I could not stand it. I looked at the Hobie Passport. And as I was looking at the Hobie Passport, I saw Pelican come up. I saw it come up on YouTube searches and everything, so I looked into it. And what I found was this kayak is very comparable to the Hobie Passport. The big difference is the pocket change. This kayak was $1,200. Hobie Passport I think retails right around $15 to $18. So for $1,200, you get a pedal drive, you get a 10-foot kayak, and the Pelican has the 130 now. The 130 is a 13-foot, and I'm sure that kayak is amazing. Like I said, I'll absolutely love this kayak. So adding 3 more foot onto it would be incredible. So price point. Price point is what got me. When I bought my Ascend, I bought it brand new from Bass Pro for $500-600 bucks. The reason I bought my Ascend is I was fishing out of a Lifetime, little blue Lifetime kayak that was like 9 foot long. I flipped it. When I flipped it, it was a cold November day, and I had to float the rest of the day cold with a lot of lost tackle and ended up losing 2 rods. So it was a miserable float for me. So I told Josh over at Bass and Beer, I said, I'm going to get a different kayak. Went, looked at the Ascend and got the Ascend 10T. Loved it. One thing I didn't like about the Ascend 10T was I couldn't stand up and it did not track very well. This Pelican tracks amazingly well. You can stand up in it and you have the pedal drive. So I would 100%, if you're new to kayak fishing and you want to get into a good affordable pedal drive, I would recommend this Pelican. Going over to the Hobie. This is a $3,000 kayak. That's not in everyone's budget. I would not have this kayak. I'd still be fishing out of Pelican if I did not win big fish for Fishing for Soldiers 2020. So to say I'm blessed to have this kayak is an understatement. The big man upstairs was definitely looking out for me when I went and fished that event. I think that if you're going to get a kayak that you can have for years, can depend on it, and has a good warranty, I would say the Hobie. I've looked into everything on it. Their warranty is amazing. They've got all these new things coming out for the Hobie. You can put a motor on them. You can put a power pole on them. There's so much space. I mean, it's a wider kayak. If you were to take these rails off, it would be a lot wider than the Pelican. It doesn't look wider, but I promise you inside it, it is wide. I think this is 38 inches from corner to corner, and this Pelican is like 31. So the rails make it look a lot smaller than the Pelican, but the Pelican is a smaller kayak on the inside. $3,000, $1,200. I went with the $1,200 and I won a $3,000 kayak. So that is just a blessing. I will never forget that tournament, never forget that fish, but I 100% recommend the Pelican. And I would buy it over again if I did not have money for a Hobie, or if I did not want to spend money on a Hobie. My problem was I didn't want to spend the money. I did not want to spend $3,000 on a kayak. I could not stomach the filling. I could stomach $1,200 because I knew I would put it in fishing. I knew I would get my money's worth out of it within a month. $3,000, different story. I'm not winning tournaments enough to say I could get my money's worth out of this yet. But thankfully, I don't have to. I got it for free, and I'm, again, blessed on that. I use the same battery for both kayaks. Both have a Lowrance fish finder. I'm supposed to upgrade the one on the Hobie. Don't really have much more to say. They both have a decent bungee system. I do like the bungee system in the front on the Pelican just because I was used to it on the Ascend, but I like the front hatch on the Hobie. So you got a front hatch, front bungee, front hatch, front bungee. Big difference on the front of these kayaks. It's not, this video is not really to compare, because obviously Hobie's the better product, and that's no offense to Pelican, because I think they got something beautiful here. I think there's so much more they could do for this kayak. I mean, I wouldn't feel comfortable putting a motor on this, but they do have their motor propelled drive kayak. So Pelican has a lot out there, a lot coming to the table. 1000% recommend this kayak. Let's talk about speed before I end this video. This Pelican, fastest I ever got it was 4.5 mile an hour pedaling, and I was pedaling hard. The Hobie Outback, I have got 5.6 mile an hour without pedaling as hard as I possibly could. So I'm a small guy, I got all kinds of energy. I could probably get that pedal drive system in the Hobie up to 6 mile an hour. The Pelican, I kicked and kicked and kicked and kicked, and I think it's just the resistance that the pedal drive offers. It's got incredible resistance, gives you incredible power, but as for speed, it's just not built for that. I mean, it could be the way the hull tracks on both of them. I know with the V-shaped hull on the Hobie, it's going to track a lot better, because this one's almost like a square-shaped, flat-shaped hole on the bottom. It does have, it kind of V's underneath, and then it comes out to a dual split. Let's see if you can see it back here. Yeah, so you can see it splits in the back, and then the front, it's almost like a V-shaped hole here. And then the Hobie you got is the beautiful, beautiful V shape. So I'm happy with both kayaks. I was incredibly happy with the Pelican pedal drive. I mean, I could go upriver. I went miles up river in this thing. So it's a good river kayak. It's a good lake kayak. Hobie's a good river kayak, good lake kayak. At least go out to your local dealer, and like I know Frontier Outdoors has some of these Pelicans in stock. Academy Sports out in Knoxville have these Pelicans in stock. So if you can get out somewhere where you can test drive them, I recommend test driving. So that is my comparison of the Hobie Outback and an affordable pedal drive kayak. And I hope you liked the video. Let me know if you have any questions, comments, leave them below. Like, share the video, and again guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you on the next one.